Good morning. This is day 6 of the 10 Days of Lightness, and can you hear me? As I was broadcasting this morning, when I first started, there was an issue with my internet connection, and I am wondering can you wave or give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Seems like my live feed wasn't working well this morning, so I went off and came back on. So I'm going to wait for a couple of people to come on and give me the thumbs up that you can hear me. I think that a lot of people are using bandwidth right now. Okay, I'm getting a heart floating up. Thank you. Is that you, Ariel, Colleen, giving me a heart? Okay, I am going to assume, can somebody give me a thumbs up that you can hear me? That would be great. Okay, well, I am going to, can hear you fine. Okay, Roxanne, yay, perfect. I was having some trouble to begin with. Day 6 of the 10 Days of Lightness. Welcome. So grateful to have you here. And today's theme is the breath of life, loving our lungs. And the theme today came to me, exhaling grief and worry, and inhaling joy and lightness, safety and security. So right now on the planet, there is so much grief and fear and worry that's circulating between all of us, and so much heaviness and constriction in the lung area because obviously with COVID-19 being a respiratory illness that compromises people's ability to breathe, we are really focusing on this area and the feeling of being compromised, and how do we bring medicine to this area. So I am sitting here with my cup of licorice tea, and licorice tea is an herbal remedy from shamans and herbalists from days gone by. Licorice root, I have my thought I brought my box of licorice tea to show you, but I didn't. So you can get licorice tea, licorice root tea in any herbal pharmacy or health food store. And for years, when I've had trouble with my lungs, if I've had any kind of cough or respiratory infection, anything to do with throat stuff, singers love licorice tea. So this is a really powerful tea for your toolbox right now. So find yourself some licorice tea. And I, at this point, am drinking a couple of cups a day. And anybody that's having any kind of cough or respiratory issues, licorice tea is amazing. And I was born a month early. I was supposed to be born at the end of January and was born December 23rd. So being a premature baby in an incubator, preemie babies are born without enough surfactant in the lungs. So I literally was born in this lifetime with that. This has been my weak spot, my lungs, with being born with not enough surfactant in my lungs, and being in the incubator. And so throughout my life, I have been prone to bronchitis and laryngitis and issues with my lungs. So I have spent years filling my toolbox with ways to improve the immunity of the lungs. So today's session is about building and strengthening this center, the immunity for the lungs. So I want to share, because for about 5 years, I have been visiting and learning from and supporting my own health at Lotus Integrative Wellness in Guelph, Ontario. So shout out to my friend Tanya Tetro, who is an amazing holistic healer. She has a background in nutrition, homeopathy, herbology. She is a profound functional medicine healer, and I will put her link in today's thread and also on my website, where I'm building a list of what I'm calling resources for resilience. So at this time, if you're having any issues with your lungs, or just simply to support your own lung health, and for anyone that is dealing with respiratory issues, the basics for building immunity, and especially for lung health, this is something that I've learned, is a B12 supplement, vitamin D, zinc. So I am not a holistic practitioner, so I'm not going to advise you as to supplementation amounts. This is a 50 milligram zinc tablet that I cut in half, and I have half of one of these a day. I've been taking half of one of these 1,000 milligrams of vitamin B12 because I know they're not metabolized in the full 1,000 microgram amount, so I cut mine in half and take them twice a day. I mainly eat vegetarian. I'm not vegan, but I don't eat a lot of meat protein, so I supplement with vitamin B12. And vitamin D3, I can't say enough what I've learned about the benefits of vitamin D, especially in the northern hemisphere. We don't get enough vitamin D with the low light in the winter. And again, I'm not going to advise you as to supplementation. You can do research on this, because vitamin D is fat soluble. So from going to a naturopath years ago, I know that really it's not my place to advise you as to how much of this to take, but 1,000 IUs a day is definitely going to be good preventative medicine for us in the winter and spring in North America. I myself, when in the winter, I actually take 5,000 IUs a day, and if I'm ill, my holistic practitioner, Tanya, has advised me to take upwards of 8,000 or 9,000 IUs for 4 days only. But vitamin D is so important. We know that it's for lungs and bones, but it's such a key vitamin for our immune system. It actually is a great supplement for our mental health, and it's one of my go-tos. And probably what has been the biggest key to my own lung health in the past 5 years, since I've been working on, I used to get bronchitis every spring that then ended up being laryngitis. And as a singer, it was an awful place to be in, that I knew that through the winter my immunity would just start to wane and my energy would flag, and inevitably with the change of seasons, because that can be very challenging to the body going from winter to spring, I would end up with a lung infection, and then I would have laryngitis and I couldn't speak or sing. So I haven't had, since I've been going to my functional medicine doctor, practitioner, Tanya Tetro in Guelph, in 5 years, thank you, Tanya, I have not had bronchitis or laryngitis, which has been just such a gift, because my voice and my lung health is so important to me. So NAC, you may be hearing about this a lot right now. NAC stands for N-acetylcysteine. And again, you can purchase this at any health food store, any Whole Foods or pharmacy that is going to be selling supplements like this. And cysteine is found in most high protein foods, chicken, turkey, yogurt, cheese, eggs, sunflower seeds, and legumes. But again, because I don't eat red meat or a lot of flesh foods, when I supplement with this, this is to receive a higher supplementation of N-acetylcysteine. It's an antioxidant that helps actually is such a boon to the respiratory system. It helps replenish glutathione levels and reduces inflammation in the lung tissue and the bronchial tubes. It reduces mucus production. So this antioxidant, NAC, it also boosts brain health and boosts your immune function overall. But for the lungs, I have found this to be such an amazing supplement for me. And I actually have seen a couple of doctors and scientists speaking during the COVID time that this supplement would quite possibly be one of the biggest boosts to your immune system, and specifically for your lung health. It also is good for heart health. It's actually good for elevating mood, mental health. So, I don't want to say it's a magic bullet. Nothing is. And again, I am very much saying I am not speaking to you as a health practitioner. I am just sharing what has worked for me. And this is 1,000 milligram tablet of NAC, which if you Google N-acetylcysteine, you're going to see that the daily supplementation for a healthy adult is between 600 and 1,800 micrograms or milligrams of NAC. So you'd be within the safe category. And again, I am only advising you from what I've used to build my lung health and respiratory strength. It's not easy to get an appointment right now. I know we're not being able to necessarily see people, but I am going to put in my resources for resilience a link to my practitioner in Guelph, Canada, Tanya Tetro of Lotus Integrative Health, because she has helped me very much build my own lung strength, capacity, immunity. And this is, like I say, for 20 years, my lungs were very prone to bronchitis, bronchial conditions. And since I have been supplementing and also, just being really aware that vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, to really in the wintertime eat a lot of citrus vegetables. If you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, and as they say, eating the rainbow, you're really going to be helping your lung function. So this is a time to really bring into your awareness how you can build and support your lung health. So I want to begin today because I'm bringing into every one of these sessions a touch point of a poem, a song, a mantra, something that can be kind of a springboard for the theme. And today, the theme, the breath of life, I've decided to share with you a poem that I wrote. I'm looking at my poetry book, and it was from 2004. So this poem came to me many moons ago when I had finished taking the 6-week John Kabat-Zinn course, mindfulness-based stress reduction. And literally after 6 weeks of building a practice of meditation and yoga and body scan, starting with 20 minutes a day to where I was practicing for 90 minutes a day. And at this point, my kids were really little. So to carve out a practice every day for 6 weeks, by the end of it, I had opened a channel to higher guidance, to the muse. And when we were heading into retreat for the end of this course, this poem came to me, kind of like dropping in like pearls, like a jewel of wisdom. And it literally, as I wrote it, a lot of times I edit and words come, words go. And this one, I think I changed maybe 1 or 2 words, but it literally dropped in fully formed. It's called, I'm going to have a sip of my licorice tea first. This poem is called The Buddha. smiles. You're a queen. You're a blind man. You're a beggar. You're a thief. You sneak into my room at night and you slip into my dreams. I wake up and my mouth is dry. It seems my life is slipping by. The ground is shifting neath my feet, but I won't fall if I just breathe. The Buddha smiles. The Buddha smiles. Don't want to be beguiled by this parade of things to buy, to try. Trinkets fade and loves are lost. To be awake, I'll pay the cost. Dancing closer to the brink, tears of mercy will I drink. The Buddha smiles. The Buddha smiles. You're a daydream, a memory, a longing or a whim, taking me away from this very place I'm in. My feet are walking forward, but my mind is racing back. Where do I begin to find the strength I lack? The Buddha smiles. The Buddha smiles. If death is the beginning and birth is not the end, a door is but a window, and enemy's a friend. Black is white without the light. Day becomes the night. The secret's been inside us all the while. The secret's been inside us all the while. The Buddha smiles. The Buddha smiles. I was drawn to share that particular poem with you today because it speaks to the groundlessness. The ground is shifting neath my feet, but I won't fall if I just breathe. The Buddha smiles. And when we think of the Buddha, this is actually the more of the depiction of the Siddhartha Buddha. But when we think of the laughing Buddha with the big belly, that Buddha who has ingested all of the sorrows of the world, all of the duality, all of the polarity, both the joys and the sorrows, the light and the dark. The Buddha with this big laughing belly represents smiling, perhaps in spite of the sorrows of the world. And an even deeper imagery of the Buddha is smiling to transmute the dark into the light, smiling with his big laughing Buddha belly, smiling to transmute sorrow into suffering, to transmute the duality of the world. And so in these times when there's so much focus on fear and grief and worry, in the Eastern traditions, healing around the lungs, this center, the fourth chakra, if you would go to a Chinese medicine practitioner or an herbalist, and they would tell you that any deficiency or issue with the lungs in Eastern medicine, the genesis, the seed of this issue physically would be in the mental, emotional, spiritual body, some grief, some worry carried in the lungs. So at this time when so many people are ill with this virus that attacks the lungs, that diminishes the capacity to breathe freely. It is so important for us to increase our breath, to focus on the line of that poem, I won't fall in the groundlessness. I won't fall if I just breathe. And not just breathe, because when we are breathing unconsciously, we tend to breathe so shallowly and from the top part of our lungs. When we practice pranayama, which is the yogic term for yogic breath, conscious breathing, we use our full lung capacity, which takes time to develop, because generally as a population we breathe shallowly. We breathe from a place of fight or flight. We breathe a lot of times we're holding our breath when we are in grief or in worry. So to allow ourselves to soften when the grief and the worry is sitting on our heart, because the heart and the lungs, they are part of this respiratory, circulatory system of our energy. To bring awareness and relief to this constriction of worry and grief is literally to bring the breath into this center more deeply with more consciousness. So I want to offer a practice of alternate nostril breathing today, which some of you may already practice, may be aware of, and for those of you who are new to it, it is a simple yoga breath. The Sanskrit term for alternate nostril breathing is Nodi Shodhana, or Nadi Shodhana. And Nadi literally means channel and flow, and Shodhana means purification. So when we are breathing deeply, alternating between the right and left nostrils, we are purifying the subtle channels of the mind and the body, and balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain, which also represent balancing the masculine and feminine aspects. It is a suitable and easy practice for anyone. And you may wish to have some Kleenex nearby. Generally, as we move through the day, one of our nostrils tends to be more blocked than the other, and it shifts as we move through the day. So just bring gentle awareness. If you have the ability to sit comfortably, I'm going to have another sip of my licorice tea. So sit gently and comfortably. If you can sit either cross-legged, or it's wonderful just to sit with your legs, your feet on the ground. The most important thing is to feel your spine erect, your head floating at the top of your spine, your shoulders nice and relaxed. As with any breathing practice, I like to begin. You may want to take a twist to the right, a twist to the left. Roll your shoulders, because we want to open up all of the ribs, the diaphragm, all of this area that tends to be so tense and tight. Any time in the day that you are actually feeling any kind of anxiety or tension, just roll your shoulders, roll your neck. Bring some flexibility and flow to this area. Because we are an instrument. Our muscles, bones, this flesh that, we are in this body vehicle, just as a musician begins by doing scales, by warming up, the singer warms up their voice. To do breathing practices, this is usually done pranayama, yogic breathing at the beginning and the end of a yoga practice. And one will always find that at the beginning of a practice, the body might be a little more tight, tense, but isn't it wonderful at the end of a yoga practice when you can literally feel your instrument warmer and more open? So sitting with me here gently now, going to place the thumb of the right hand on your right nostril. And in this simple practice, there's many ways of doing it, but I'm going to just simply place my middle finger in the middle of my forehead on what would be termed the third eye, between the eyebrows in the center of the forehead. And then when we breathe, we're going to place the pinky finger on the other side. You can use both, your pinky and your fourth if you wish. It's up to you. I'm going to keep it simple today. So breathing in from the left nostril, we're going to breathe in 4, retain the breath for 4, and then breathe out on the other side. So I'm going to demonstrate. So breathing in, let's just begin actually with a cleansing breath, breathing in deeply. Breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. One more time. This is telling the body to begin to relax and invite a deeper breath, opening up the lower part of the lungs, because we tend to only breathe into the upper and middle part of the lungs. But as we build a breath practice, a pranayama yoga practice, we want to begin to bring more and more prana, which is literally the chi, the breath, the life force, into the lower part of the lungs, so that we can be like a bellows, like an accordion, using more and more of the space. Because as we do so, we're bringing more and more life force to the body. And as we bring more and more breath to the lower part of our lungs, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and repair system. So today, focusing on the breath of life, we're doing this practice of alternate nostril breathing to bring deeper rest and repair to the body. So thumb on the right nostril, middle finger to the middle of the forehead, and breathing in on the left to the count of 4. 3, 2, 1, close and retain. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to open on the right side. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Close and hold. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to turn to the side. Breathe in through the right. 3, 4. Hold. Close and retain. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the left. 3, 4. Retain. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in on the left again. 3, 4. Close and retain. 2, 3, 4. Open the right and exhale. 3, 4. Close and retain. 2, 3, 4. So now that we've established the rhythm and this practice, the how-to, I'm going to simply do some rounds with you, breathing in through the left for 4, retaining, holding with both fingers for 4, exhaling on the right, and then opening to inhale. We're always exhaling and then inhaling on the same side, retaining in between. So without me counting, we're just going to do a few rounds of this together, and let's lengthen and deepen the breath. So breathing in, inhaling on the left for 4. Retain gently. Exhale right. Retain. Inhale the right. Retain. Exhale left. Retain. Inhale left for 4. Retain for 4. Exhale right. Hold. Retain. Inhale right. Retain. Exhale left. And retain for 4. So you get the rhythm of this practice, and it's a very simple practice, but it is a very, very powerful breath practice, especially to calm the mind and the body if you are feeling anxious, overwhelmed, unsettled. And you can increase the count from, you can begin with 3 if 4 is too much, increase to 4 and 5. And the most important thing to remember in doing this alternate nostril breathing, that as you are circulating this breath and moving from right to left, thinking of as you're exhaling anything that has been sitting on your heart, any grief, any worry, think of fully releasing and exhaling that. And then when you are in the retain, it is just this place of neutrality, allowing the breath to circulate and nourish. And then when you're inhaling this fresh prana and allowing the lightness of your being to literally enter you on the breath as light, as peace, as joy, and to circulate through your entire body. So a practice of alternate nostril breathing to begin with 5 minutes, build your practice to 10 minutes. As I said, to begin with, this balances the right and left hemispheres of the brain, the masculine and feminine properties. It brings deep calm and equanimity to the brain. So it is a wonderful practice. And I'm taking another lovely sip of tea. Again, find yourself some licorice tea. It is so healing and restorative for the lungs, for the bronchial tubes. So I want to ask today, pop in the comment section, how are you feeling today? I want to ask what's sitting on your heart. And how are you feeling as far as, are you carrying any grief? And is there something that you wish to place into the field, into this circle today to release? Because my intention with this community is helping us come together to support each other in this time of feeling perhaps alone, isolated, not having the opportunity to greet another person, be nourished by touch or hugs, or just simply being able to sit and have a conversation or coffee if people are living alone. So feel free to share in the thread if there's something that you're wanting to simply place into the comments with your intention, something that you're ready to release from your heart, from your lungs, something that you're ready to exhale. So I want to bring into the circle today the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. And actually I'm going to have to reach beyond for a second. Pardon me. I wanted to, today's focus on the breath of life and invoking and nourishing our immune system and allowing ourselves to touch that tender place of grief and worry that so many of us are feeling right now. I wanted to share that the poem at the beginning of today's session, The Buddha Smiles, I have a recording of it on my CD. It's called Coming Home. And the mantra that we're going to do now is also on this CD. It's called the Mahumrityunjaya mantra. It's from the Rig Veda, the Indian Bible, that is 4,000 years old. And the Mahumrityunjaya mantra is a powerful healing mantra that I like the description that it is a healing mantra for restoring health and equanimity and happiness. But the piece that I wanted to bring today is that the Mahumrityunjaya mantra brings equanimity and calmness in the face of death. So for centuries, this has been a Maha mantra, and Maha in Sanskrit literally means big, large, huge, the great one. So this mantra for years in Eastern traditions has been used for healing when one is ill. And it's also used so poignantly and powerfully when one is readying to leave this world, so that the person can be free from fear, even in the face of death, even if one is in pain. That this Mahumrityunjaya mantra is a summoning of the divine power that brought us into this world and that will gently hold us as we transition. So this mantra awakens such a deep healing force that reaches deep into the body and the mind that it literally helps us transcend the illusion of death. And I say the illusion of death because if we know that we are energy that can never be born, can never die, we are this seed of light, a soul that is beyond the physical, that this mantra helps us tap into this deep, instinctual, primordial sense of our immortality, of our connection to the divine, that we can move beyond the fear of death itself. So the mantra, I've been chanting some mantras, some simple ones in this series. This is a long mantra, so I'm not suggesting that today you're going to be able to learn it with me. You may listen and chant along. You may already know this mantra. But what I'm going to offer is I am going to chant it, I'm going to sing it, and I invite you to simply relax and open to receive it. And I want to share with you that the mantra in Sanskrit is, now it's interesting as I think of that, I pause for a minute because I'm used to just singing it. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushti vardhanam urva rukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshi mamritat. And then we end on Om. So the Sanskrit verse translated into English, the English meaning is Om. We pray to the one who sees all, whose grace manifests everywhere like sweet fragrance, who bestows prosperity and who nourishes all beings. May the Supreme Spirit free us from bondage and death, releasing us into the oneness of our immortal nature. May liberation unfold as naturally as a ripe fruit simply falls away from its branch and becomes free. So this mantra, and in Sanskrit mantra translates to mind tool. It is literally a tool for us to use to marry our human mind, to merge with our divinity, with our higher self, with divine source, God, creator, whatever you may call this in your, whatever your meaning making is of this higher source, light. So we're literally, with this chant, with this mantra, creating a bridge from the mortal to the divine, stepping onto the bridge from materiality to spirit, merging, if we can, in this third dimensional body into the upper realms, 5D and beyond, where we are one with spirit, with the divine. And the piece that I wanted to bring in with this Mahamrityunjaya mantra today is that the last sentence, may liberation unfold as naturally as a ripe fruit simply falls away from its branch and becomes free, is an invitation into all of the transitions of our life. May it be our ultimate death, that we may be so free and content that we are free to shed our mortal bonds, that we may be free to simply fall away from the branch with ease and equanimity, without worry or fear. So this is such a power to activate the part of us that is beyond the fear of loss, the fear of death, the fear, and I want to bring in the fear of transition, the fear of change, because we go through many births and deaths in our life before we get to the ultimate death that we will all have from releasing this physical body. So to be able to have equanimity and ease, peace and grace as we move through changes, through the little deaths in our life, then we build the musculature for the grace to greet whatever is coming our way with this ultimate love of whatever is arising, with being okay, with befriending the uncertainty. So I want to invite you to quiet your mind, relax your body. You might even want to lay down if you have the opportunity to do this. Some people have been asking about what is the instrument I'm playing. It is a Shruti box. Shruti, which in Sanskrit means the heart of God, the heart of the divine, and it's an instrument from India that plays overtones. It creates a drone with overtones, so it offers a frequency that I can sing over, that literally brings us into this heart center, into this space of the breath of life that is our ultimate gift, that when we come into this world, when we are born, we move out of the watery womb of our mother's body, and we are born into this world, shocked into this place where our umbilicus is cut, and we must take that first breath. And we, at times, take for granted this gift of breath until we have a problem, until our breath is compromised. And then, in the laboring of our breath, we come into contact with the deep need to heal, and through the contraction of the fear that this brings when we can't take a deep breath, to calling forth a higher power to assist us, to support us, to help us expand, to draw in this great life force, this chi. And we are, we are this body temple, and we have a channel. Some people call it the ascension channel. And this column that we breathe through, it is much more than simply from our lungs. If you can imagine that you are a column of light that extends deep into the earth, into the core of Mother Gaia, all the way up through the top of your head, up into the cosmos, that you are an energy being. You are an energy being that has this respiratory system of lungs and heart. And we use the aperture of our mouth, our nostrils, and we breathe into our circulatory system of the lungs and the heart. But we connect to the larger energetic system that we are as multidimensional beings. So breathing deeply, if you can imagine breathing from the core of the earth up through your body, through the central channel, up through the top of your head, connecting to this divine source that promises us that we will be held through our transitions, through all of the losses and changes of our life, and ultimately to when we take our last breath, we will be held and carried. So for anyone who is at this time feeling a depth of fear or grief or worry sitting on their heart and their lungs, or anyone that you know that is close to transitioning, I offer this potent mantra as a balm, as sonic medicine, as a vibrational offering of benevolence to loosen the grip of fear and to expand peace, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivardhana urvarukamiva bandhana mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam 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 Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhana Urvarkamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiham Amritat. So, this Mahumrityunjaya mantra, the Maha mantra, the big one, in the Rig Veda from 4,000 years ago, the saints and sages drew down this sacred sonic medicine through the form of these Vedic sounds and syllables as healing medicine. I offer it to you today as a gift that you may draw in this greater breath of life. Bring ease, bring peace to your own body, mind. And it's, I'm thinking that I've posted this mantra. I have, as I mentioned, I'm going to go off this. I have this mantra coming home with 108 rounds, 62 minutes. It's a full hour of the Mahumrityunjaya mantra. It's almost out of print. I have a few copies of it. If someone would like it, you just send me a private message. It's also on my timeline. I posted it on SoundCloud. If you scroll down, I think about 3 weeks ago, I'll just repost it so it's closer to the top of my timeline. And it literally, if you play this mantra, it literally will purify the energy of your home. And if you begin to chant with it, it will bring you into this space of grace where you too can befriend the uncertainty of loss and change in your life, where you can contact this supreme spirit that this mantra speaks to, that frees us from bondage and death, releasing us into this oneness with our immortal nature. I wanted to show for people that I love that I'm seeing friends I've known from long ago and maybe we haven't met before, that recently I have created something new. I have CDs available on my website, PamelaGerrand.com. And I've created something new because a lot of people don't actually have CD players anymore. So I've created this new nifty product that is, it looks like a cassette, but it's actually a USB stick. So it is my entire music collection, all 3 of my music albums of original music. And it also has this healing mantra CD that is almost out of print. So if you'd like to pop to my website and see what's available there, this is listed in the shop section as the USB. And it also has, it has audio tracks, but it also has a poetry folder and some poetry art prints that I created. So feel free to go and visit my website and see what's available there if you'd like to have further resources on your journey for music, for your soul, and more tools and resources for resilience. Like I say, this is a powerful, powerful mantra. So I thank you for joining me today, and until we meet again, I'm placing my hands on my heart, because today we were bringing energy and focus to the breath of life, to our lungs. And may you take a moment today to pause and breathe deeply into your heart center and celebrate your lungs. And for anyone that is ill or having difficulty with their breathing, I send you the deepest prayers of healing. And if someone is just coming to this transmission now at the end of it, I'm going to post it, because it is filled with tools and tips to build immunity and strength for our lungs and for our heart center. And for anyone that would like more information, please feel free to send me a private message. And thank you for joining me today. It's so wonderful to connect here in the 10 Days of Lightness. So until we meet again, be well, be wise, and I send you lots of love. Thank you for joining me today.